Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Finance and reads, how will the budget next month help New Zealanders and their families get ahead in this country?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the budget next month will help achieve that by focusing on four main goals: lifting the long-term performance of the economy, reform of the tax system, better delivery of public services, and maintaining firm control of the government's finances.
Craig Foss.
Supplementary, Mr Speaker, to the Minister of Finance. As part of the budget, how will the government ensure that it continues to manage its finances in a responsible way on behalf of taxpayers?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the government will continue to improve public services, funding that from low-quality spending and new operating allowance. We will live within the $1.1 billion operating allowance for new spending and restrict annual increases to this figure to 2% per year from next year. Even within this restraint, core Crown debt is forecast to triple to about $65 billion by 2014 as we borrow to fund the deficits. To turn this around, the budget will redirect another $1.8 billion of lower quality spending between now and 2014 into high priority areas such as healthcare, education and law and order.
Supplementary.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, which of the following will make it easier for New Zealand families to get ahead? Increasing tax on all the basics when most are struggling to pay their weekly bills, or giving tax cuts to those on the highest incomes and small change to everybody else?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, well, the member will just have to wait for the budget to see the details, but the budget will be good for the economy and it will help New Zealand families to get ahead.
Craig Foss.
Supplementary to the Minister. Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister. What are New Zealand's main economic vulnerabilities as the government deals with these challenges?
The Honourable Bill English.
Speaker, there are two main vulnerabilities. Treasury forecasts in December predicted a cash deficit of $10.1 billion in the current year to June 30th. It is also forecast the government won't return to surplus until 2016. The second vulnerability is New Zealand's total external debt, including households, businesses and governments. It has ballooned from $90 billion owed to foreign lenders in 2000 to $170 billion today and is forecast to approach $250 billion by 2014. These facts were clearly lost on Labour's finance spokesman when he said New Zealand's problem cannot be primarily that it has a yawning budget deficit, because it does not.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, can the Minister confirm that on taking his office, his government inherited zero net Crown debt from the previous government, that in describing borrowing he has misrepresented data by claiming that they are borrowing $240 million a week when half of that is rolling over old debt? And can he further confirm that New Zealand's gross and Crown net debt are around 1/3 of the OECD average?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, I'm confused with the member's claim that there was no debt when he left office, and when in the next sentence he says that half our borrowing is going to rolling over existing debt. And the credibility of that analysis is carried through into Labour's recent promises to put taxes up, spend more, borrow more, and leave it to our children to pay the bill.
Craig Foss.
Supplementary to the Minister of Finance.
Order. Craig Foss.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. What alternative approaches to managing the government's finances has the Minister seen?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, I have seen a misguided recipe for borrowing and hoping, taxing and spending, and leaving a mortgage on the future for our families. It comes from Labour's leader and their finance spokesman. The fact is that the current government is following a very sensible economic policy, which is to prevent a rapid rise in our debt, to lift the growth rates of our economy, and to give people incentives to save and to get ahead, and less incentive to spend too much and borrow too much.
John Biscown.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister of Finance. Why won't the government help New Zealand families by following Australia's lead today by putting the ETS on hold until 2013, especially since John Key promised during the election campaign, quote, "We shouldn't be a world leader because that will come at the expense of our economy, and I see no sense in New Zealand putting export jobs to another part of the world. Or is this an election promise that doesn't matter?"
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, the issues around the emissions trading system are complex, and the world situation is the Australian situation is a bit different than the member says. But I am puzzled by that member's party's willingness to promise to honour the property rights of forest owners who will receive over $1 billion of credits. So they want the forest owners to keep their credits, but they think the taxpayer should pick up all the debits. I'm not sure if he's consulted Sir Roger Douglas about that, but that is very poor public policy.
Question. The Honourable Rodney Hyde. Order. Order. A point of order has been called. The Honourable Rodney Hyde.
I don't believe the Minister actually addressed that question. We got a long discussion about ACT's position on it, but the question was quite clear. Why wouldn't we follow Australia?
Order. As I heard the Minister's answer, he disputed part of the question, and that the way the path taken by Australia was described in the question, the Minister disputed that, and he's perfectly entitled to do that in answering a question. Question number 2, Gareth Hughes.